So I hope all of you are liking the course so far. And now we come to a very, very important area, which are time intelligence functions. As it says, we are going to use different type of DAX functions to do time calculations. But before we step into this, it is very important to learn how to create a date table. A date table is nothing special. A date table simply means that, let's say I have the 1st of January 2020, and I have a series of all the dates from the 1st, which is the starting date, till the end, which in this case is the 16th of January. Now, would you say that this is a proper date table? It is not. And you know why? The reason is that if I sort it from oldest to newest, you would notice, watch carefully, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Do you see there is no 8th? There is no transaction that has happened on the 8th of January, which could be due to one of several reasons. We're not really concerned about that. But because this is not chronological in the sense that there are gaps in this data, we cannot use this as a proper date table. 99 out of 100 times your data would be like this. Obviously, because your transactional data, it's not necessary that your transactional data will have every single date in it. So what do we want to do? We want to create a date table. So please watch this, date table. Now I'll show it to you both on Excel and on Power BI, even though the example we will be covering partly on Excel and partly on Power BI. So in fact, it's a good idea to show you both on Excel and Power BI. Let's say this is my date table, everyone. And my values are from the 1st of January 14 till the 31st of December 17, correct? So from the 1st of January 2014, I'm going to drag it all the way down till the 31st of December 2017. So I've shot ahead a little bit. So let me make it the 31st of December. Perfect. Insert as a table. Make sure it is called HMC date table. And what do we want to do now? We want to add it to the data model. So Power Pivot and then add it to the data model. Now this is great. That table has got added, but then what is the relation between your orders and date table? For this, you will have to click on the diagram view and you will have to create a relationship. Remember, we'll do the exact same thing on Power BI as well, and the interface also looks very similar. So we are saying that because we have a proper date table now, our order date should not be used as a date anymore. So we want to drag it and then put it on top of date table, and this will create a one-to-many relationship, which means that on the right side you have a dimension. Every date is mentioned one time and only one time, but on the left side you have every date mentioned numerous times, because on every date numerous transactions could have happened, correct? Let's go back. Now when we go to our pivot, and let me just create a new pivot table, everyone. So I'm just going to copy this and then come below and then paste it. Let's remove everything, because for now we are only interested in checking whether the second table is working or not. Okay. So you notice we have our date table here. I'm going to select my date underscore table, which basically is the date value, put it in rows, and wonderful. Do you see how it has automatically grouped it together? I can also right click and group, and if I don't want a level of hierarchy, I can remove it. Let's say I only want to look at the year and the month like this. So it is only showing me the year and the month like this. And now I can select my sales value or my total sales value from my orders, and I can see the result like this. So take a moment and think about it. We are using the date from one table, which is the date table, but we are using the sales value from a different table, which is the orders table. And how is everything connected to each other? via the model and the relationship that we have created, which is like this. All right, excellent. So I want to do the same thing on Power BI quickly. Let's come to Power BI. Here I can actually use a DAX measure. We could have done the same thing on Excel as well, but in Excel it's simpler to just create a new table. Here I can go to data and then create a new table. Remember, we are not using enter data because we're not going to paste all the values. We are going to click on new table, and we will simply say that I want to create a date table which is equal to a calendar where I need to put the start date and the end date. What is my start date? The minimum order date. And what is my end date? The maximum order date. Like this. Press enter and you notice that a table will be created from the 3rd of January 2014 till the 30th of December 17. Why is it not from the 1st of January till the 31st of December? Because the transactions are missing, but that's okay. In any case, we don't have any transactions during that period, so we can afford to ignore it. A small change, I also want to change the format to DDMM YYYY because we don't have the time value with us. How do you create the relationship now? We select the modeling button and don't worry about these extra relationships that are coming in. They sometimes come automatically. So remember, returns and people we are not using for now. We will probably come to it later. But for now, I want to select my date table everyone. And exactly what we did on Excel, we want to select order date and then drag it and then put it on date. And as you can see, we have created a one-to-many relationship like this. Wonderful. Now we can go back to our report. Let me make a new page. And what I want to show you is how we can create a YTD. Now I know what you're thinking. What's the big deal about a YTD, which is a year till date? We can do it as a running total also. For example, a lot of you must be thinking, let me show it to you like this. Let me remove the region. If you keep the sales value once more in values, and if you simply say right click, show value as running total, what will happen? It will show you a running total, which is basically nothing but the year till date, correct? There's a problem. If you notice, this is giving you a calendar year. That means from January to December. But we want to work in a financial year, which is from April to March. And that is what you can control when you create your own YTD. This is sort of getting the job done, but this is not exactly what we want. So how do we do it? Measure, new measure. I'm going to call this my total YTD, and this is equal to, there is a function called total YTD. Similarly, we have QTD and MTD as well. So total YTD, I am finding my total sales, which is the expression, very simple. After that, we want to select our order date, which is my just a minute, my date table, right? Which is my dates. After that, there is an option for my filter, but we don't want to apply a filter. So we just select all of our orders, right? And then finally, this is the best part. We can choose our year end date. So if I want to choose, let's say the 31st of March as my closing, we can simply write 31/3 like this. And you notice that now the result that comes in is going to be a little different. If you notice, January, February, March, April, but wait, watch carefully. January, February, March is 14 plus 4,000 plus 55,000, which is 74,000. But if you look at April, the value is getting reset. In the case of our previous running total, it becomes 102, 126, 160. But here it is becoming 28, 51, 86, and it goes up till 409. And it doesn't reset to next year. It continues to 427, 439, and finally 478, like this. Wonderful, right? This is exactly what we wanted to do. We can do the same thing on Power BI as well, the same measure and the same way, either as a chart or as a table, the values can be presented.